Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à la deuxième.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second Virtual Academy Day today, European Investment Bank Day today for the SME. So if you were yesterday with us, you were able to have a few discussions, animated discussions presented by experts regarding the entrepreneurial and microfinance, and for green financing, diversity and gender financing, and it was at the focus of our discussions, and we wanted to have with the EIB to be able to construct a resilient financial sector in order to have an inclusive finance for Africa, for the West of Africa. And I would like to say that it's the first time we do that for the western and central part of Africa, and it's the first time that the Academy is supporting exclusively online. It's something done new, with a lot of participation for the event during the event, and about 1,000 people were registered during the plenary session. We had yesterday morning about 600 people for the plenary session, so we thank you very much for having participated and followed us. And of course, we invite you to carry on with this survey that we're going to give you today, and it will be done later on today for the survey in small groups, and in order to answer a few questions for the survey, for the technical aspect of it. And you need to be on that platform in order to be able to answer to the questions for the survey. So it's a direct discussions window that you open in order to participate to the survey. It's on the bottom right side of your screen. Once you have access to that window, you just need to click on the survey tab on the right side, top right side, for the tab survey. And then you've got access to the different surveys, and it will be done a little bit later on during the day for the small discussions by the small groups, and you will be able to answer to all the questions. Regarding the program for today, we are going to have a plenary session in a few instants, and then after that, after the opening, we're going to go to the practical session for the Academy today and the small group sessions, and then you will have the choice between 6 sessions with 6 themes on green financing, for example, or regarding the constructions of the for the finance, and for the 10B, you will be able to have the services that will be done. For the 11A, you will have for the financials. Seated on the numerizations, you will be able to do for the processes that will be done, processes that were done for the 12A, for the diversity and the gender financing after that. And then you will be able to seek new opportunities and to find them. And for 12B, for the creation of the ESG, you will be able to see the path for the microfinancing. So that's the program that you're having today. So green financing, agriculture financing, gender financing that you will see, and it will be done for the clotures at the end of the day. And then after these practical sessions, then we will be able to see the first for today, for the plenary sessions, Nikolaos Miliantis for the EIB based in Cameroon. And regarding his career, Nikolaos Miliantis, he started in Greece for his career for the Alia Bank in 75 when he started, and he had management positions, and he was an advisor for the companies, and he was the treasurer for the EIB, and he was managing 530 million euros as a portfolio. And 2007 as well, he had portfolios for the credits that were over 1.5 billion euros. And for 2008 to 2010, he managed some projects in Spain regarding renewable energies for the southeast. And it was also head manager for the Kenya Bank, and he had quite a lot of public and private sector operations, and he was the vice manager over there for Southern America as well. And he was able to help all the companies within the perspectives of the EIB, and he was managing all the capitals, all the capital that was done for the central part of Africa and Cameroon. And he has a license from University of Florida for finances, and he was able to manage as well in Arizona. And he's certified, and he's got the relevant experience for the training sessions for the second and third secondary, tertiary university educations. And these are the introductions.
Monsieur Nikos Nian.
Yes, good morning. Very much, thank you very much, Excellencies, members of the PEPTE. Can I continue?
Of course, of
Hello?
course. The floor is yours.
Can I? Oh, thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hainami. Good morning, Excellencies, governors of central banks, CEOs, CFOs, COOs of our partner institutions and clients, distinguished members of the audience. I'm happy to receive you now, finance institutions that support the small, medium, and medium-sized enterprises. It has been a very interesting day, the first one, and I just want to share with you 2-3 points that we got from the replies you gave on the polls. The first one is the green finance and the gender finance. Everybody's interested or already involved. A key thing that would catalyze even greater involvement is, I think, information. Lack of information is what they feel they have in order to proceed even better in this area. And for me, from my experience with working with financial institutions, sometimes the demonstration effect is a key element to allow things to move better. A second point that was asked was, what do you think would be most important for the recovery post-pandemic? And the key element that was given as a reply is short-term finance. And I think that makes sense given that things have slowed down in the economic activity of the two regions as for the whole of Africa. And people now want to get started and get back to having as close to pre-20, pre-19 activity levels. We are talking about various topics that we discussed, which was the green finance, was the gender finance, digital aspects of your operations. We should say that everybody is changing, and EIB is changing too, even the other peer institutions. It was decided, and it was by our board 3 weeks ago, that EIB will set up a separate, dedicated financing arm that will be looking towards the non-EU space. So everything that we cover, Latin America, Asia, and Africa, of course, will be taken over by, by separate dedicated services so that we address in a much better way the needs that we have to address for these regions. I would like to say that there are two elements, two important parts of our activity that will are becoming very obvious, not only for us, but for the whole family of the multilateral development institutions. The first one is impact. We have to maximize our impact. We have to unlock the benefits that we try to bring about through our operations. we try to see our operations in a holistic way. And the purpose is not only to have a particular operation, but also through technical assistance to have a lasting impact on our capacity to bring to bear on the particular sectors we operate in. And I should say that all our activities are aligned along the SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals that have been defined by the UN back in 2015. A second element that we should say, that we should keep in mind, is partnerships. Nobody can go alone, not the countries, not the multilateral institutions, not the private sector. And the private sector has a very big role to play. So what we need is that we partner even more than before, which already do, but it will be even more the case, with peer institutions, peer development institutions, with stakeholders like the UN, the United Nations. And we see this partnership mentality in Europe. We have established initiatives like Team Europe initiatives. So all the European Union development financial institutions partner together to bring to bear a greater impact on the operations we have. Another side of partnership is when we partner with think tanks, with NGOs, with knowledge centers, because again, the idea is to have a holistic approach and bring the maximum benefit we can to society. Indeed, the final outcome would be ideas, solutions, new products, and new instruments that will make our impact more meaningful in the areas that we operate. As you heard in the opening statements, the impact we had last year and the year before, the year 2019, has been extraordinary, has been very good because we went beyond our expectations. Of course, we had the slowdown in the years 20 and 21 have been impacted, but we're coming back slowly to normal. And that is our purpose, to accelerate and have a minimum impact going forward as regards our objectives. And indeed, the objectives of the countries we operate in, and we partner, and the financial institutions or the corporate side, the SME side that we partner with. The idea is that everybody goes back to normalcy and we try to make the best out of our intervention. Je vous remercie beaucoup. Je parlais en anglais comme le
Thank you very much. I was speaking in English. Je parlais en anglais. I was speaking in English because it was a pleasure to be with you because and with the following sessions that are going to follow for very specific themes. I think that we're going to have it's going to be very good, and we're going to have new ideas, and it's going to be very fruitful in order for us to continue with our operation. And this having been said, I thank you very much for your participation. Now I'm going to give the floor back to Mang in order for Armand to carry on with this excellent event. Thank you very much. Thank you, says Aman. Thank you very much, Mr. Nemilianitis, for this opening speech and once more to have announced the color for the second day of the Virtual Academy for the EIB. And now I'm going to give the floor to another person, Rosario Bento Pais, who is the EU ambassador for the Gabon, and before being nominated as the ambassador within the Gabon Republic, Ms. Rosario Bento Pais was the head of the Civilians Foundation within the EU administration, and she was the head of the unit for the climate action, member the cabinet of the Agriculture Cabinet. She was a vice president as well for the environment, and she was vice head as well, deputy head for the climatic change, and she was a very powerful negotiator for the environment. And before going back with the EU, she was responsible in Portugal for the EU affairs from Portugal, and then she went to Luxembourg, and then she went to the EU. So please do welcome and do listen carefully to Ms. Rosario Bento Pais for the introduction for the second day of the Virtual Academy for the European Investment Bank, EIB. Thank you very much for these introductions. I would like to do everything, and I would like to observe the protocol that was presented by Mr. Miliniatis. And I wanted also to thank very much the organizers and effectively the EIB for the invitation and the organization of this virtual academy, which is very much welcome for the African region in order to consolidate the financing capacity and the microfinancing. The EU delegation in Gabon, it was very important, and it covers the Western and Central Africa, and I cover the Gabon and the center, and I'm going to basically talk about Central Africa, and in particular to talk about for the Gabon, for the position, because I'm currently in Gabon and I've come from the center, and I came yesterday, but I'm going to discover everything with you as well, because we haven't got too much time, so I cannot cover all the themes that are analyzed at home. But first of all, I would like to say that all of us agree with the private sector, which is very important, and are the engines to drive the economy, mainly to help with the environment for the SME activities and investment activities. And we do know that it's not possible with the COVID money to do everything. And like the Commission said it, the European Commission said it, they are gradually implementing the plea to support the financing and to help with the efforts of transformations. And we have to go through the banking sector in order to do so. And the banking sector of the sub-Saharan African countries, it's very difficult for them to answer back to the needs of the SMEs and the private sector. We can see that the banks can give credit to the private sector. What is at stake for the environment and for the financings, in particular to finance the microfinancing for Central Africa? It's not always very different from what is done elsewhere. Regarding Western Africa, the problems are about similar from Western Africa and Central Africa, but there are quite a few specificities, namely in Gabon, and that's what I'm going to talk about, because I know quite well about the climatic change and the gender financing, which are also part of the effort that we're currently doing. And within this region, we are already working with the EIB, and Mr. Milnianetis has just said so, and that is to say we are putting financial measures in order to fulfill the political agenda, but we're working with the private sector as well, and with the EIB, what I was saying, the financing, that's what we were going to do. We are trying to implement it, more than 150 billion euros for the EU institutions and the banks, EIB and all the other banks. And regarding Gabon, 90% of the companies are considered as small companies, less than 20 employees, and the big companies represent only 10%. So the SMEs gives about 30% of the jobs, and within the contracts that were identified, the access to the SMEs, that was very important for them to have access to the funds, and the credits were over 5 years on average, and they were to be refunded with 200% with interest rates of about 12%. And the possibilities that we're able to do, and we need to consolidate the financial resilience in that sector. And within the microfinance in Gabon, we carry on to do it with our colleagues to see the possibilities to put facilities in particular for gender financing, and also following the request from the Gabon authorities, the fact that the microfinancing in Gabon is like that. We can see that there is 12.9% of increase in terms of microfinancing for the last year. And according to the economic figures, statistic from the Gabon government. And we're trying to do it, and we had the pandemic, and we can see that it's very encouraging to see that the Gabon has made a new law as a framework for this investment, and they are trying to make Gabon as CO2 neutral and to improve the economic potential of Gabon and to support policies for sustainable development in Gabon. And these new laws are going to be implemented for all aspects of the Gabonese economy. And finally, it's a new way for the Gabon government to use its stock, CO2 stock, with the CO2 credits that it has. So it's very important what is at stake with the new arrivals of the new investments and the new funds that are coming this way to accompany Gabon for that. And regarding gender financing in order to support women, Gabon is a very inclusive country as regard female participation for financing and their economic participation. And the Gabon has a new long-term investment in order to support women and to support gender financing, and several objectives, several aims to help women to make them take part in the production and operations of the country and to have access to the microfinancing. The EU in Gabon supports this operation, namely for youth and women, in order to support them and to have a focus on women and the youth in order to help them to have the necessary competencies to participate to the financing and economic life. And finally, in order to accompany Gabon, we are doing it in collaboration with the World Bank to make the writing of the new law for the investment, a new law that will be a framework for the local investments, a new partnership with the bank in terms of financing, which will allow the Gabon authorities to identify the potentials, to unlock the new potential in order to accelerate, to speed up the diversification, economic diversification, in order to support the recovery. At the end of June of this year, all the operations in Gabon that were made were done with the digital finance, and in order to improve the resiliency of the African countries. So there is a budget, 15 billion euros for the new initiative that will have an impact on 600,000 people, and mainly women, and in order to help them, for them to withstand the negative aspects of the pandemic crisis. And this digital finance will allow to the youth and the women to have new opportunities. In Africa, there are 4 countries taking part, of which Gabon, which led the project. That's one of the cases. We had a new regional delegation with the CFC regarding Central Africa, working together with the EU and with the French expertise. and we created a new council, the FEF, which was part in the sub-region, and we have also a new program with the borders regarding safety borders, which is going to bring for the new CFC a new code, and the code will allow the CFC to give subventions funds, microcredit funds, and it will be done within the regional programming for the development. And we're going to put the emphasis on women to help them in order to give for green finance and gender finance and to develop it. Here you are. I just wanted to give you a few projects, and we need to focus on a more sectorial approach, and the various partners with the EU and the private sectors are going to help us and to give warranties, financial warranties as well, to help you for the European funds for sustainable development in order to reduce the risk and to reassure of everybody for the microfinancing to be accessible for everybody. And without further, thank you very much for the EIB to have organized this new academy, and with the success that we're going to have, I think we are going to be able to carry on with the EU institution and with the African institution, and we're going to be able to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosario Bento Paes, for this presentation of what the EU has done in Gabon. And thank you for reminding us of the importance of the private sector in the countries around Gabon, the importance of the synergy between the various players in the economy. Thank you once again. I shall now leave the floor to our third speaker this morning. It will be Claudia Berger, who is head coordinator of Technical Assistance Program within the Inclusive Financial Services Unit at the EIB in Luxembourg. She's a purchasing manager. She has spent 20 years working on getting contracts for the public sector. She is now a specialist in technical assistance for obtaining microfinance. She is a specialist in MSMEs. She's a consultant for the sales force of an IT company in Luxembourg, and she's also a consultant in a company in Germany. She studied in Graz. She's married. She has 3 children. Claudia Berger, you have the floor.
Voilà, il va falloir ouvrir votre micro, Claudia.
Claudia, you will have to switch your microphone on.
Sorry, I have found the button. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We had a successful first day of the Academy with very interesting panel discussions. And today is the more technical part of the Academy, so please allow me to address you in English. I'm happy to introduce now the part of the learning sessions to you. As we said yesterday, this EIB SME Banking and Microfinance Academy 2021 is part of the Technical Assistance Program, supporting capacity building to financial institutions and MSME in the 2 regions, West and Central Africa. In the day 2 of this virtual academy, we offer you various live learning sessions throughout the day. We have been really looking closely into the various potential subjects of interest for you. And together with our consultant, IPC, we have made a choice of topics that have been reported to us by numerous financial institutions in the regions as the most burning ones. Happy to hear that the offer is in line with the results of the polls. So in order to fit now 6 topics into one day, we have created 2 selectives, as you were able to see when you registered. You should have received already this link to your pre-selected sessions. But if not done so, if you're not registered yet, or you feel to want to change, or just to sneak into a parallel session, the platform offers you this possibility. Go back to your space, tick the respective link, and follow the instructions. Just shortly to mention which learning sessions are available today. We have 3 finance-focused sessions at your choice. It's the green finance, how building climate-relevant loan portfolios. What is the future here? Agriculture finance, how to become a financial part in the value chain, and why it's becoming more important than ever in future. Gender finance, how to include the right value positions. What are the opportunities here? But we have also another choice for you. As digital finance, what is changing in the service delivery? Which new innovative products can be offered? Digitalization and ways to digitize financial services, which is an opportunity to getting closer even to your customers and including efficient business processes. Building ESG frameworks. So how efficient environmental and social governance frameworks will have an impact on your reporting and rating of the financial institution. Our experts having sound experience, and they will deliver on each of these training sessions for 90 minutes. The session will begin with a general introduction to the topic, followed by a presentation, and you will have the occasion for exchange between the experts and yourself, but also on an individual basis. Just to let you know, we are recording all sessions and will publish them on our TA program website shortly after the event. So you will be able to follow all learning sessions, and the experts will also draft a written content summary, which can be accessed as a concise white paper on the website as well. In this respect, I would like to draw your attention that you can also find the links to webinars which were held already previously. And I'm happy to announce that as of the beginning of next year, we will launch again a series of webinars with further interest topics. Now, before we close this session, I would like to thank you to Your Excellence, Rosario Bento Pais, for her very interesting speech and information she gave to us. Thank you for the support of the EIB and the collaboration. And I hope we will continue even better and more in future. Thank you so much. And also, Nikos, thank you for your interesting speech and information you have provided. I'm happy that you mentioned the poll results and that we are in line with our topics here. So now over to you, and I wish you fruitful sessions and many insights. We see you later again. Thank you.
Merci à vous, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia Berger, for this introduction about the various group sessions that will take place very soon indeed. In the next few minutes, I should like to get back to something you said, the fact that as a participant in this academy, everybody has the possibility to choose any session they want to take part in, but you can as well move to other sessions apart from the one you have already chosen. Each session will be 90 minutes long, and there is a program which will talk about green finance, digital finance, agriculture finance, digitalization, gender finance, building ESG frameworks, possibilities of networking, surveys, which means that I'm asking you to please answer the polls that will be presented to you during the day via the platform that you have access to. Go to the window at the top right-hand corner where it says direct discussion. When you have clicked on this window, you will have access to the poll and the questions that we would like you to answer. You have all afternoon to answer this survey. Please take the time to do it. This will enable the EIB and every other organizer of this academy to have an idea of what you feel, how you think that we have progressed, and also to make sure that the themes we discussed were being relevant, to see your opinions on what was being presented to you. So once again, do answer the survey questions. In the next few minutes, we will start the various learning sessions. In the meantime, we shall have a very short break, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.